Hey everybody, Optipotamus back for more Paper Mario. In the last episode, we fell off the back of a house, got ourselves a hammer, and beat up some punk named Junior Troopa. In this episode, we're going to continue making our way back to Goomba Village. And now that we have the hammer, we can break that yellow block that was previously blocking our path. Blocking our path, get it? Wow, okay. But first, we're going to want to hit this tree and get a mushroom. Now this is the first item we can actually get in the game. Yeah, like it's saying, we'll use items for various purposes throughout the game. Some restore HP, some restore FP, some do damage in battle. Some can actually only be used in battle. But really quick, we're going to want to hit this block. You could use it right now if you hit C left. And it restores 5 HP. But we're going to want to hit this block and not waste our mushroom because this is a heart block and it will fully restore our HP and FP for free. So no sense in using that mushroom. You're going to want to hit one of those whenever you see it. They're completely free in this game, so there's no reason for you not to. It's free HP and FP restore, so it's really nice. You'll notice this block right here looks awfully familiar to the ones we're able to break now, but it's actually made of stone. We can't break this one yet. If you hit it, you just get this cute little shockwave that runs through Mario. So we can't break that yet. I just thought I'd bring your attention to that. Just remember that for a little bit later on in the game. But if we jump up here, we can get yet another item. The Fire Flower, a flower that burns all enemies with fireballs, attack power 3. Now this is an example of an item that can only be used in battle. You'll see if you use left C, it's grayed out. And these are battle items. They only do damage or have effects in battle, so you can't really use them outside of battle. So now we're actually going to be getting into some battles. I see bad Goombas ahead. They're loyal to Bowser. If they see you, they'll attack you without hesitation. If you can successfully attack an enemy in the field with a jump or hammer, you'll get the first strike. Yeah, so first strikes are kind of like preemptive strikes in Final Fantasy. This is how battles work, by the way, in Paper Mario. They're not random encounters. Like, you don't walk for a bit and then it's just a random encounter. They're all set, and you'll see them out in the field, kind of like Earthbound. But, like you said, if you jump or use your hammer on them before the battle actually starts, if you see them out in the field, you can get what's a first strike. And those are really helpful because you can do a little bit extra damage to the enemy before you actually even start the battle. It won't use a turn, and it just gives you some extra damage, so it's pretty great. Especially for these enemies, since they only have 2 health right now. So here we have a different kind of Goomba than the one we just saw. This is a spiked Goomba. And this is our first introduction to spiked enemies. Basically, spiked enemies, you can't jump on them. It stands to reason, because they have spikes on them. You'll take damage if you jump on them, and you won't even do any damage to them, so you're not going to want to jump on them. You can only use your hammer on them. And coming up right here is pretty much the exact opposite of spiked enemies. These are flying enemies. And flying enemies, I said, are pretty much the complete opposite because you can only use your jump attack on them. Let me show you right here. You notice when I jumped on him as well that his wings fell off. A lot of winged enemies will revert back to whatever their original form was, I guess. When you jump on them, their wings will just fall off and they'll become like regular versions of whatever enemy they were. But you'll see the hammer option's grayed out now, meaning we can't use a hammer on the enemy. So the important thing to note here is spiked enemies, can't jump on them. Flying enemies, can't use your hammer. So that's a little bit of variation already. But I guess I might as well get into the stats of enemies right now while I have the chance. Every enemy in the game has 3 stats. Attack power, defense power, and HP. Right now, these Goombas we're fighting all have 2 HP, 0 defense power, and 1 attack, with the exception of the spiked Goombas, which do 2. So, not super tough. We'll get into some tougher enemies a little later on, but these guys are just basically to show you, introduce you to battles a little bit more. But right here, you're going to want to pick this up, and this is a star piece. This is really important. It's a glowing star piece. Wait and see what it's for later. Yeah, I'll get into what it does a little bit later on. Right now, you're just going to want to know that those are important to collect, and you're going to want to keep an eye out for them and pick up any you happen to see along the way. So anyway, with that, we're back to Goomba Village. If you tried to open this gate before, it would have just been locked from the other side, but now Goomba can unlock it for us, and we're back. Alright, back safe and sound. Now, before I forget, I've decided to give you something. Alright, wait here a minute. Cool, so he's going inside to get us something. Hey, that dolly you've got. Yeah, and now he's gonna talk about the dolly. You can actually say no and choose to not give her the dolly back, which is... I don't really know why you'd want to do that. You're actually going to want to say yes, because what she gives you is pretty important. So, thank you very much. So happy. In return, she will give us a star piece. So that's great. We already have 2 star pieces. Like I said, you're just gonna want to... Oh, that's cute. You're just gonna want to hang onto those star pieces for right now. I'll get into what they do a little bit later. You always seem to beat up your enemies. Do you work out? Yeah, I lift. I study self-defense by reading books, my master's and listening. Okay. I also exercise every day so I can be strong like you. I'm getting big muscles. Okay. Big feet muscles or what? His head is hard as a rock now. Okay. Head bonk move. Alright, so they're just gonna make small talk. And Goompa's back. Just rapping with Mario. Oh, rapping, huh? Sorry, I just wanted to give this to Mario. Okay, and he will give us the Power Jump badge. So the first badge we can get in the game. Mario stomps on a single enemy using a lot of attack power. Now, badges are basically equipable items that do various things. It can increase your stats, can allow you to do new abilities. But they only really work if you're wearing the badge and have it equipped. So now, for the sake of these videos, I'll show off how you basically put on a badge. It's super simple. You just go into the Start menu. Now we'll have a Badge tab that contains all the badges we've collected. You go over... Active badges are the ones you currently have on. We don't have any on right now, so... And it won't let us move anyway. So you just press A on all badges, move over to the one you want to equip, press A on it, and it's highlighted, you have it on. And if you want to take it off, you take it off with A. Just that simple. Every badge is going to use BP, which are badge points. Depending on how good or useful the badge is, it'll take more BP. So that's yet another thing that can help you out in battle, maybe diversify just how you choose to play the game. Please take this hammer, it should serve you well. If you're just a bit younger, alright. So he's gonna let us hang on to the hammer, that's really nice. Like I said, he's probably not gonna be using it anyway, so it's probably better for us to take it. Alright, perhaps the timing is perfect, you're no longer a child. Sure, Mario will agree. You should accompany me. Well, I mean, you kind of put me in a tough spot here. I can't really say no, so... Goombario joined the party! So now we have Goombario tagging along with us, and if we press down C, he has a special ability to let us... to help us out a little bit. He'll talk about whatever area we're in, give us a little blurb about it, maybe a little factoid or whatever. And that could be kind of helpful if you don't know where you're going. So, you know, if you're just stuck in a room, maybe just press down C. He'll tell you about where you're at, or maybe a little hint. My family lives here, see. So here's an example of that. Like I said, it can be kind of helpful. If you know what you're doing, you don't really need it. It's not really useful at all. But it can be kind of helpful if you're new to the game. So... before we leave the village, we can now break that block and get out of here, finally, but you're going to want to hit this tree here. This is the only tree in the entire game that will give you this. You can get a Goom Nut, a special nut found only in Goomba Village, restores 3 FP. So this is the first item in the game we get that actually restores FP, and that's pretty great considering we just got a badge that we're going to want to equip right now. It lets us do a special ability for 2 FP, and basically lets us do a powered up jump with more attack power, but it costs FP. So that Goom Nut that helps us restore FP is really useful right now. So Measuring Mario. Alright. Anyway, now we can break this block and finally get out of here. Problem solved. Alright. Be watchful, yet stay cool. Calm mind is the wisest. Alright, and we can check this sign, and beware of Goombas. And a Goomba will actually peel off. Just more paper humor, I guess. But now, we can actually use Goombario in battle as well. And we can switch between which one we want to use first in battle. So that can add a little bit more strategy to it. Just by pressing Z, you can switch to which one you want to use the attack first. Let's go ahead and use Goombario. Head bonk is basically like jump for right now. It's just a basic attack. Tattle, though, will let you tattle and see the stats of any enemy. And that can be kind of useful if you want to check out, if you don't know the stats of the enemy. I'll try my best to just say the stats of every new enemy we encounter, because I pretty much know all the stats of the enemies anyway, and I'd hate to just waste a turn to have him use Tattle to explain it. It can be kind of useful, but I'll probably just, more often than not, just be telling you guys the stats of the enemies. So this is a Goomba. Like I said, it's already, I already explained a little bit earlier on. It's got 2 HP, 1 attack power, and 0 defense. You can jump or hammer them, and he'll give you a nice, funny little, flavor text, I guess, about them as well. Like, these guys are old school. You've been around, they've been around since you were in Super Mario Bros. So a little bit of breaking the fourth wall with that. But also, you'll see that they now have an HP bar under them. And that will stay, now with every Goomba we encounter, they will have that HP bar. Not super helpful right now, because Goombas only have 2 HP anyway. But with enemies that have a bit more health, and bosses especially, if you just lost track of how much health they have, or want to keep track of how much damage you've been doing, that can be really helpful. So I'm trying to avoid the battles now, so things don't get a bit too repetitive. The episode is also going on a little bit longer. Gonna have to cut it off pretty soon here. But I want to get to a nice cutoff point, not when we're in the middle of a fight. Pretty basic right now. Like I said, the battles will get more interesting. They're actually getting more interesting, you know, more and more as time's gone on. With each episode. Like this episode, we got a partner to attack with, so we can do... That's like a lot more damage just with that. We can equip badges, so there's tons of new stuff we have introduced to us already. But there's one major mechanic we're gonna get a couple episodes later on that will, I think, is pretty much the defining feature of this game. Anyway, though, you'll notice the Paragoombas are actually a different kind of enemy than Goombas. They don't have the HP bar hovering over them, so you have to use Tattle on that, and that's why I feel like it'd just be... There are many, many enemies in this game, so I feel like it'd just be better for me to explain the stats of them rather than have to use a turn doing Tattle. So, we're getting a little bit weak. But luckily, enemy dropped heart, and also we have that mushroom, so we might as well go ahead and use that. And... oh, whoops. Whoops. Messed that up. Alright. For the most part, I think I'm probably going to be cutting a lot of these battles out if they are enemies that we've already seen before. This early part of the game, I don't want to do too much cutting, but if things get repetitive, I'll probably end up cutting out battles. Like, you guys probably don't want to see a million Goomba battles. Anyway, we probably want to get, you know, more into the story or more into something that's more plot-driven or actually important to the game, not just random battles with Goombas. So, I'll probably be cutting them out for the most part. But, here we have this red question mark blocks. And these always hold badges, so you're going to want to hit any of these if you ever come across them. They're very important. And this will actually give us the close call badge, and it makes it so that if Mario's in danger, enemies will sometimes fail attack. Basically, if we're... you may notice that when we get to low health, there will be a little danger bubble floating above Mario's head. It'll just blink danger. If we get into that status, that's if you have 5 or lower HP. Sometimes enemies will just miss. So that can be useful. Might as well just go ahead and equip that now. But eat a mushroom to regain your energy. And just like the Goomba, it'll peel right off and free mushroom. Awesome. So let's go ahead and equip that badge really quick. Because that could be useful. And we have the extra BP for it anyway, so might as well. I think I'm actually just going to skip this. Okay. Here's another heart block. Probably should have held off on using that mushroom, but oh well. So, there's actually a kind of important fight coming out right over here. But I'd like to save it for the next episode because this episode's gotten a little long already. So, in the next episode, we'll get to that important fight and we'll get a little farther. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all then.